Okay, now let's go on to volume 48. Volume 48, the theme is death and mindfulness. Okay, and it'll be just a talk actually. The first chapter is on karma and the afterlife. Okay, so it's quite a long essay, about 70 pages. So I'll just kind of summarize for you. Just listen. Okay, karma is one of the key teachings in early Buddhism. Right? With karma, there's of course rebirth. They go together. How come you have karma and rebirth? In a sense, you can't just have karma without rebirth, you see. Because number one, karma is action, right? Karma is not just action. Karma also is volitional action. In other words, moral. It has moral value. It's morally validated, or it has a moral quality behind it. Moral here means there are consequences, good, bad. Okay. Very simply speaking, but there's always a danger when someone says simply speaking. All right. Simply speaking, it seems right. Good begets good, bad begets bad. So it seems, right? But we know from our daily life, good people often suffer despite all the good they've done, and bad people often seem to prosper despite the bad they've done, right? So although we do agree that to the teaching that good begets good, evil begets evil, we find this seems not to be true all the time. But the principle is there, okay? So just take it as a principle. So that is karma. So how does Buddhism have a different idea of karma? The first thing is the Buddha disagrees that saying that good begets good, bad begets bad, as you sow, so you shall reap, is found in the Samyutta, yes, but it is not Buddha word. You see, sometimes we forget, we just know some quote, then we paste it on Facebook. It's a fake quote. There are lots of fake quotes on Facebook. Yes, it is mentioned in the sutta, good begets good, evil begets evil, as you sow, so you shall reap. But it is not Buddha word. In other words, the Buddha did not say those words. Those words actually are a curse used by some seers or rishis against the asuras. Because the asuras were kind of fighting the devas and destroying their ashrams, their habitats. So the rishis, the seers were telling the asuras, please do not come to our place here, destroy our hermitage. But the asuras are very fierce. They refuse to acknowledge, they refuse to accept this, because they know the seers kind of supported the devas. So the seers were very terrified. So they said to have certain powers, so they make this act of truth. They say, well, we have no ill intention towards you, so by your negative act, may you face your own consequences. Basically, this is what is meant. Okay, whatever evil thing you plan because of your mind, and I have no such ill intention against you. May you face your own deserts. May you face your own fruits. So it was a curse in that sense. It is partly true. Okay, it's not totally false. The Buddha rejects this idea because he says, if for every evil deed you do, there is a bad karma you must face, then you'll never be able to get out of it. It's just like you kill 10 mosquitoes, you'll be reborn 10 times as a mosquito. It will never end. Because we kill a lot of beings, tiny insects and so on, and imagine all the other karma that we face. So there's no way out. Moreover, you will notice we do a lot of good things, we do a lot of bad things, but the results do not come immediately. Okay? sometimes you don't see the results. It seems as if there is no result. But in due course, it will come. All right? So the Buddha says that the karma are of three kinds. That's one way of looking at it. There are many ways of classifying karma. In accordance with time, there are karmas where the fruits ripen immediately. All right? And then there are karma whose fruit ripen in the next life, the very next life. And there are karma that ripen in future lives. Not immediately, but future lives. So three kinds of karma. So for that reason, we sometimes don't seem to see karma ripening in this life. Okay? So karma is flexible in that sense. Now, another new angle that the Buddha gave us is karma is our habit. It's what we do. It is not so much that karma rewards us or punishes us. That's the old way of thinking. Rather, if you go on acting negatively, you become that karma. What does it mean you become that karma? Take, for example, let's say a killer, okay, a murderer, a robber. He only comes out at night in the dark. He waits for his victims. He stalks his victim like an animal stalking. Okay? And then he attacks this person. He could be a rapist also. He rapes a person or steals. So he has no concern for human life, no respect for human life. And he does this regularly, habitually. So if someone has that kind of habit, you can imagine he doesn't like bright places, right? And if he does that in old age, when he is going to pass away, what kind of images will come to his mind? Because what is the regular habit that he has been doing? Darkness, all this, what they call stalking people, killing and so on, right? In a sense, it's like the dreams that we have, nightmares that we get, you know? Okay? So this person is going to die with that unhappy thought. The human body expires, the human body dies, it's left behind. But the mind, what kind of mind is that? It's a mind of a stalking animal, right? So this mind continues as an animal. So that's how rebirth takes place in one simple example. So notice here, you have rebirth, and then you have karma, and you have rebirth. Okay? Because many of these actions you don't see resulting in this life. But it takes the future life, right, to take place. No? Of course, there is a philosophical problem here, right? Or scientific problem if you like. Scientific-minded people or philosophical-minded people will say you can't prove all these things, right? There's no way of proving A does something and then B is reborn something else. All that we have are stories in the commentaries, in the suttas. So in other words here, this is a teaching based on faith, right? But this is where this kind of faith is helpful, is good. It doesn't want you to believe in something that destroys others. Rather, this faith wants you to believe in something that will help keep society civil, keep society happy, keep society possible. And this kind of faith is good, right? The other kind of faith, they believe in the God belongs to a certain group, certain culture, and then they fight other culture, they kill for their God. It's okay to kill those who don't believe in your God and so on. So that is negative, right? So compared to a God idea, I would say an idea of karma and rebirth would be a more helpful teaching in moral terms, in other words. So this is where karma and rebirth is the Buddha's contribution to human culture. All right. Now, the kind of teachings that the Buddha gave in the sutras very often has to answer what are available in his own days. In other words, what kind of teachings were given. Of course, many of the teachings were wrong teachings. They were rejected by the thinking people, right? The Brahmins were the ones who gave a lot of their own teachings those days. For example, the Brahmins have built up themselves over hundreds of years as a religious class. In the early history of human civilization, many of the powerful people, the rulers, the kings, the emperors, they were also priests. Right? Even in China, the emperor is called the son of heaven, for example. So they regard themselves as from up there, even spokesmen of God even. So the Brahmins invented stories showing that they are born from the mouth of primordial man or God. So they are given the task of teaching. So it's just a story, a myth. And then the Kshatriyas, the nobles, were born from the arms of this primordial man or from this God. So their duty is to defend the Brahmins, defend the country. And then you have the Shanks and the Thais. Those are the merchants. They're supposed to support the other two classes with wealth and so on. And then you have the feet. Those are the menial workers, the Shudras. They're supposed to serve the other three classes. So this is a class system invented by the Brahmins, which the Buddha totally rejects. All right? According to the Brahmins, they say, well, you are born into that class, so you got to behave like that. The Buddha say, there's no such thing. Whether you are high class or low class, you are good or bad depends on your action, your karma, right? Then the Brahmins also have another idea. They claim that they are the spokesmen of God. So the other classes, everyone else, have to come to the Brahmins who do the prayers, who do their chants, who recite the mantras, perform rituals. And they have to be properly done, and only the Brahmins can do this. So this is where they call this karma. Karma means the ritual is properly done. Now you see this a lot in the ritual Buddhism. You find everything must be done correctly and so on, right? So this is a Brahminical idea where the emphasis is put into the rituals and not into the mind of the person. So the Buddha rejects this. The Buddha says, no, there's no good way of explaining all this. So this is wrong practice, wrong view. Karma is your intention. If your intention is filled with greed, hate, or delusion, then your karma is also unwholesome. So it's not a ritual action, not doing something in a prescribed way, but something that is your intention behind the action. So these are some of the ways you see how the Buddha, in a sense, adapts the old teachings and revises them and give a new, better interpretation. Okay? In other words, in the case of the Brahminical system, you can perform a ritual and then you are free of your sin or whatever evil you have done. And then you say, I'm pure now. But that's a wrong idea. Whereas in the case of karma, you are personally accountable. Okay? You are accountable for your own actions. That's the difference. Okay? Now comes a very important phenomenon in life which unites all religions, and all religions must have something to say about it. That is death, right? So as you know, this volume focuses on death. So here we have karma and the afterlife. The death is in between, in other words. So here, how do the different religions view death? So in the case of the Brahmins, the idea is that someone dies, they will go through a kind of in-between stage. And then they reach the realm of the fathers with the big F. So if they are caught in the in-between state, it's not very helpful. They are suffering. So they have to perform rituals, a particular ritual called the saddha, or shraddha rather in Sanskrit. This saddha is without the long R. The long R means faith, okay? This saddha means ancestor worship. They have to do certain prayers, of course, to the Brahmins, make offerings of rice balls, and perform many days of rituals. This has to be done by the son. When this is done properly, then the soul of the deceased, usually what's interesting is only the male is mentioned, the father is mentioned, the mother is not mentioned. The soul can move on to the realm of the fathers. Notice it's the realm of the fathers, you don't say the realm of the mothers. So here again you have this rather male, patriarchal kind of leanings here. Okay, so this is the old Brahmanical explanation. This being that has died is called a preta. Preta. Originally, the word preta simply means departed one. Preta is very close to the Sanskrit word pita, meaning father. Okay, so the Brahmins they teach that this person passes away, he becomes a preta, a departed one, and then he goes to the realm of the fathers. So the son has to do prayers. Okay? So anyway, the Buddha adopted this idea of the preta. He agrees, okay, we will accept that's the departed. But he rejects all the rituals which the Brahmins perform. In the Buddhist method, the best way you can help the dying person is through your own good karma. Okay? Having said that, there are some things we can't do for the dead, for the simple reason of the nature of rebirth. In other words, we ask the question, which kind of dead can we really pray for? Now, let's say our parent has died and he has been doing a lot of good work and is reborn somewhere else as a human being, or for that matter as a deva, okay, in some higher heaven if you like. So he doesn't need any of your prayers because he's quite happy. If he's reborn as an animal, again, this prayer won't reach him because he's reborn as an animal, say an elephant in Africa, for example. Or if he's reborn as a hell being, again, it won't reach the hell being. Even the pretas, it will not reach all the pretas. There are different classes of pretas, different kinds of pretas. There is one kind that depends on giving from humans. Yeah. So those are the kinds that can be helped by us. Now, because we do not know where this person is being reborn, we do this offering of merits, dedication of merits for the dead, just to make sure that if he's reborn as that kind of preta, that he will receive it, and we help this person along, so to speak. Okay? So this idea of praying for the dead is more to assuage or to comfort the living, the ignorant, than anything else. Okay? One last note is that in any kind of prayer for the dead, the deceased, must have loving kindness. Okay? Here it is important to understand, in a manner of speaking, there is no dead in Buddhism. Dead is a state like, it's a nihilist state, there's nothing there, so to speak, the dead. You know? Rather, there's no death even, because someone is reborn. Okay? From this side there is death, yes, but from the point of this person, he is reborn, so he's not dead. Right? So in that sense, there is no death. There is only rebirth, so to speak. Okay? So let's assume that this person is dying. Now, this is different. Okay? Is the dying, that means his body, human body, has ceased to function, but the mind, the consciousness, is still present, or still has not moved on because of craving, attachment. Now, that kind of situation we can help, but it needs a lot of loving kindness. So this is where we have the Tirokuda Sutta and the Sadajana Soni Sutta, for example. These two suttas will talk about how, when we pray for the dead, loving kindness is very important. We must do it with a sense of inner joy, rejoicing in this person who has passed away, and wishing this person well. And with that kind of feeling, the person passes on happily. It's like basically we see a gathering of friends and they are wishing us well, saying happy things about us. We feel good, and with that joy, we can ourselves from present craving, and we can move on. So this is the Buddhist idea of the prayer time. No? Okay, I will stop here for today, and we'll continue with a few more interesting details from karma and the afterlife in the next round. Close with a short reflection. Today we have completed volume 47 and we are starting with volume 48. We're looking at a new aspect of the teaching on death and the afterlife. The Buddha's teaching always reminds us that the present moment is the only reality we have, and to treasure it, to value it, to build up as much wisdom as you can in the here and the now, so that we are prepared for whatever happens with a calm and peaceful mind. Reflecting in this way is good karma, and by the power of such good karma, may we be well and happy so that we are able to practice this teaching effectively, and may we be blessed with the wisdom and courage to aspire to stream winning in this life itself. May our loved ones to be well and happy. May those who are practicing the Dhamma too be well and happy and attain the fruit of their practice in the Dhamma. And may those who are lost or having difficulties to return to the right path in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.